Welcome to Screen Bytes, a podcast about gaming, technology, TV and movies. We're watching the Fallout TV series, episode by episode. Each episode will have spoilers for its relevant episode number. There will be no spoilers for later episodes.
So we're pretty much here to discuss the Fallout TV show, episode 2.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it yesterday, and do you know what? I was just trying to pull up like a synopsis, just so we don't forget to talk about something, or just to kind of have it as we're going through it. Has the full synopsis yet? Wikipedia only has the first episode. IMDb didn't have any, so I'm kind of struggling to find like a synopsis guide. It's weird that I know they only came out yesterday, but it's weird that no one has written up anything, because it's only 8 episodes and there's thousands or millions of people watching them. So I did find that quite surprising. So hopefully we won't forget to talk about something, but who knows?
It might be one. Well, probably might be one on the actual Amazon page, but it'll be quite.
Well, that'll be the basic,
short and brief, and won't
non-spoilery. I was thinking, I like the Wikipedia synopsis. They're written quite well. Maybe they'll be around for the later episodes we record, but currently not available for episode 2. We're only one day. It's been 24 or something, 36 hours since they're released, so it shouldn't be too surprising. But I did think there might be something by now. I feel like, do you know what? I feel like, so there's a couple of things I need to follow up for yesterday. One is I was talking about the pre-war ghoul, and I called him Skinny Malone. It's not Skinny Malone. That's in the same mission, but earlier. It's Eddie Winters, and that's who I meant to name drop. That's the character in the game. And then the other one is, we were talking about War Never Changes. I did try and go back through the trailers to see if I could find the trailer that I was thinking of. But I wonder if I'm thinking of the original Fallout 4 trailer, because I think it's in that. And I might have been getting them confused. But so far as I can find, War Never Changes, I can't find it happening in the Fallout TV series, in the episodes or in the trailers. So I apologise to you for being so confident or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
legitimately,
oh my God.
I was sure I've seen it, but I think it's the Fallout 4 trailer that it's in.
I could have spent hours looking for that.
I can visualize it in my head, so it clearly exists, but it must be for one of the games as opposed to the TV series. The only thing I can think of is maybe there was this event, this Microsoft event. There was a Fallout TV show trailer shown, and it was shown there to the people in the room, and it wasn't shown on the internet. And I don't know if it was ever shown on the internet or whether there was like a leaked copy of it. And there's a part of me that's wondering if it was in that version, but at this point I'm just going to say don't quote me on it, and we'll see if it does appear in the TV series. But I would bet that it doesn't, unless they're doing a lot of flashbacks. I'm not expecting it to.
Yeah, I don't expect it now, especially like we said in the previous episode. It kind of fitted in right at the start.
Because the title, the episode title is called The End, so that is the perfect place for it to be. Yeah. Anyway, episode 2. Do you remember where we started?
Yeah, so we started off at the Enclave with the doctor that we are.
Yeah, so now I will say, I thought this was quite funny as I started watching it. So you actually admitted before we recorded that you had started watching a bit of episode 2. So when I was talking about dog meat, you knew dog meat was in that episode.
I did, yeah.
You knew about dog meat. Did you know about who the guy was?
No, I only watched a few minutes of the first episode. Just him putting that dodgy stuff inside his neck. And
do we ever work out what that was?
I think it's down to the fact that he's doing some sort of experiment, because there was another dog that he just got rid of instantly, like killed off.
Yeah, because they're too small. Like this dog wasn't technically, it should have been incinerated with the others.
Yeah, incinerated, yeah. And that was kind of strange. I was thinking, why did you feel so good for this one and not the one that you just got rid of?
But for some reason, he felt something to keep this one, because there must be so many other dogs that they'd be going through.
Well, he's put something inside his neck, some sort of blue formula, and it looks like it kind of like links him to the dog.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, because once he did that, the dog stood up and was like looking towards him And then he said something like, "It's okay." But I don't know if that's just...
Well, that just sounds like normal human to dog relationship, if I'm honest.
It does. It does. And they have spent some time together because the dog was a puppy. And
That
then
dog must be 6 months or a year old by that point. So, significantly trained. German Shepherd as well, really good. And female dogs are much better to be trained than males for that kind of work. Yeah, because like I don't want to skip right to the end of the episode, but obviously he doesn't survive the episode. So unless that thing is still in his head as it's delivered, like, yeah, I'm just not really sure what that blue thing was, unless is it something we've seen in the games? That kind of, like, is it a serum? Is it some kind of technology, like a microchip or something? They didn't explain it. He did the thing, shoved it in his head, then the guy come in and the dog killed him. Like, it just ended all so quickly.
Yeah, it was quite fascinating why the guy came in and started... Was he having a go at the fact that the dog was there?
Yeah, it looks like the dog... No one knew about the dog. Like, the dog was being kept behind that board in that back area. There's a whole lot of weird stuff in this part that now that the guy is dead, I wonder how many of those answers we're gonna get, or how important it is.
Let's tread back a little bit, because the next scene after that is the Brotherhood of Steel guy is now on his mission to basically it's the same mission as the cowboy, retrieve the subject. And at first he's just like a person who's carrying around the equipment for the what are they called? Yeah, the knight, sorry. Yeah.
It was interesting, actually, before they even got off the vertibird and he was trying to interact with the knight, and the way the guy was like, he took off his codpiece, it was like, look, clean this. And it was just such a brash show of authority and lack of wanting to create a relationship with the person who's underneath him. Because normally, like in an army or a military situation like that, you kind of want the people serving you to think of you as family almost, so that, you know, they'll die for you or something. But this guy was just such... he was just so rude. He was such an arse to Maximus. And obviously we see more and more of it as it plays out. But so he gets him to clean the codpiece, and then as soon as he cleans it, puts it back on, then they jump out and he's just like, I want to go shoot something. And it sounds like he wants to shoot the guy, to be honest, by the sound of his voice and the phrasing he chooses. And then they just go off wandering for miles, presumably to make him tired. What did you think of the knight character?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, because like you said, he was like, oh, I want to shoot something, and then the guy's like, we're way behind, like miles away from our target, we should stay on the helicopter. And then the helicopter just goes off and it's just like, all right, you're gonna do your own little thing, then and then he goes looking into a cave and they find a bear, and the bear starts attacking. And he completely... Did you
think, before you carry on, was that the same cave that the scientist and the dog went to? Because before that scene, the scientist guy, what's his name? I can't remember his name. But the scientist guy and the dog, they went to a cave-like area, and he sat down and ate some cram, didn't he? Yeah, because they met the Vault Dweller, didn't they? Like near I don't know if he met the Vault Dweller before the cave or after the cave, but he did. I'm guessing what they were doing is they were hinting at how close all of the characters were to each other, just so that when they did all appear, that it wasn't such a surprise. But I did wonder, because it was only the next scene or two scenes on, I genuinely thought they were going to stumble upon him in the cave, because like, it was only a few minutes after.
Yeah, I had that kind of feeling. I had that kind of feeling as well. I was like, yeah, they shot it in a way where it's like, this character was just here like a few minutes ago. But yeah, who knows? But the main scene for that was for the what's the guy's name? Maximus, to get the power armor.
So basically, the knight, who was basically a grade A arsehole the entire time, they were building that up for us to not like his character, so that when he sent him into the cave without a torch, and then he eventually got attacked by the bear, you're kind of thinking, oh look, he could help his knight, he could save his knight, but actually all he's got is a small handgun. If he attracts the fire of the bear, he's actually putting himself in danger versus the guy in literally a walking tank suit. And so, do you remember in the previous episode when we were saying, oh, did he slash that guy's foot or not? And I said, oh, this is a character moment, and will something happen in the future that makes us think definitively whether he did it or not? The way he didn't kill the knight, but he allowed the knight to die. He sat and watched the knight helplessly die, succumb to the wounds that he had endured. So, and that is something he said in that meeting with that elder, where he said he's not going to stop something from happening if it benefits the Brotherhood or something like that. Like he'll allow things to happen, but he's not going to cause them. So what do you think? So having seen that scene, do you think he did the foot slashing? Do you think he didn't?
I think he did, because he has his own goals that he wants to do. But he also, we see in the second episode, he does care about the moral code of the Brotherhood of Steel, because he says to the knight, you're not worthy of that armor, you should not be wearing it, you should not be talking like this. And that's why, like you said, he just lets him die, because he's like, this guy's not worthy for this armor. He has some morals.
I mean, to be honest, the knight, he was such a whiny little bitch. Once he took the helmet off and you saw what he was like, heard his real voice, he has no love for the Brotherhood. He just wanted to be... He wants the power that comes with being a knight and the power, and literally with the power armor. So you think he did do the foot slashing? I look at this scene and it makes me think he didn't do the foot slash. I think it's one of those situations where it's like he is grateful of the outcome, but he did not start it. He did not cause it. But if it benefited him and his goals, he's okay with that.
Well, the next scene after that is him going inside the suit and playing around in the suit, and you can see him like dancing, throwing stuff around.
He's really happy.
There's something that he actually did want, so he definitely wanted to be in that suit.
He definitely wanted it, but I don't think he actively did anything to put him in that position. I think he was quite happy to let circumstance play out in his favour. That's my guess. That's my thinking with both of these two scenes.
Well, it's also the fact that, say, if the Brotherhood come across his corpse and see that there's a bullet inside his brain, they're going to know that something. Why? They're going to ask questions to him. What happened to your knight? You need to look after your knight. So I suppose he could say, like, oh, a bear got hold of him and killed him, and I decided to, like he said, like, if I complete the mission by myself, they're not going to care what happens to you.
I suppose if he was a smart person, he might have stabbed the guy with the stim pack after he had died, so that there was a used stim pack and a puncture wound, so he could say, oh, look, I tried to save him, but he was too far gone or something like that. But yeah. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see how much this plays out in the future. So I messaged you. Did you notice anything about the power armor?
No.
It uses fusion cores.
Oh.
I had to pause and rewind, and there's not many shots that are good, but there's a few times where you see it from the back, and there's this sort of like black round thing in the middle of the handle in the center. So visually, these use power cores. And as he was running around flying, I was half expecting him to run out of power and just be stuck in his suit at some point. That might yet still happen. It was quite amusing. It was interesting to see the HUD is exactly the same HUD as it is in Fallout 4, but backwards, as if we're looking in, not out. So that was good. The Iron Man style flying, that's new. That's not in the game. There's a jetpack, but there's no sort of like flying. So, and also, when he threw that bathtub or something into the lake,
he threw it for miles.
It went miles. I tried that in game last night. You cannot throw objects that far. You can throw them about 20-30 meters. That's it. The power armor does not give you super strength in terms of throwing objects. So yeah, I think that they need to fix that in the game or in the TV series. Just putting it out there.
I suppose we should talk about the Vault Dweller. So she comes out the vault, and yeah, the doctor guy wakes her up because she's taking a nap at the camp, and she says, "What are you doing here? There's dangers out here. You shouldn't be here." And she tells him, "I'm looking for my dad." And then we get dog meat eating an ant, big ant.
Rad roach.
Rad roach.
I love how they showed how naive she is.
Exactly.
There's 3 or 4 instances where she's just the most naive person in the world. So there's that scene with the fire. Even I was thinking as she was lighting that fire, I was like, you probably don't want to be doing that. Not in the middle of nowhere. But, she doesn't know that. How would she know that? There was the scene where she gave that guy her can of water. The camera angles in that scene where we were constantly looking at her, but also behind his not fully covered up arse wasn't the most pleasant, but I feel like they were doing that on purpose. But yeah, incredibly naive person.
She reminds me of a character in Fallout 3, the Wasteland Guide lady, where she gets you to do a bunch of tasks where she's like, I would like you to see what happens if you go through a minefield.
Oh yes, the scientist in Megaton.
Yeah, she's not. Well, she's just like, I'm doing this research on.
Well, maybe not a scientist, but she sends you off to do a few experiments, like go stand in radiation after.
Exactly. Like
this concoction or something. Yeah.
It just felt like she was that kind of type of character where you're just like, how stupid is this? It's like even if I was in this world, you would understand. Like this world, everyone keeps telling you this world is messed up. You shouldn't be here. And she approaches everything like in a completely like, what kind of planet are you on? Do you not see what's around you?
She's incredibly optimistic, and she assumes everyone follows the same rules that all the people in the Vault-Tec do.
I also found, I don't know if you think this as well, but the Doctor, his voice, he sounded like one of the settlers from Megaton and Fallout 3.
I didn't notice it specifically.
He's like, I am here. It is very dangerous here, Vault Dweller. He was talking in like this really, like, I felt like he played the game and he was trying to replicate some of the characters within Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, specifically Fallout 3. He sounded like, the people who celebrate the bomb in Megaton in Fallout 3.
The children of Atom.
Yeah, he sounded like the bishop guy. Like, we have Atom here. Atom is great for you. His voice was very to me. I was like, I couldn't work out if he was doing it on purpose or not. I was like, it just sounded like he was trying to simulate the game, the characters within the game, like their voices. I don't know. I was just wondering if you picked up on that or not. It doesn't sound like it.
Not especially, but like I said, with Bethesda's involvement, that doesn't surprise me that they might try and do things, put things like that in their direction. So
yeah, just the way he was talking, and yeah, it felt like she was the guide lady, and he was like some crazy nut person who was worshipping the atom. That's what it felt like the way they were talking and the way they were just their demeanors and stuff. But anyway, I suppose the next scene after that, we should really talk about like the big scene in the little town, and that we first meet, like we see the cowboy is waiting, and he's waiting patiently for his chance to find, like he knows that the Doctor's gonna run.
He's like hiding in plain sight.
Exactly. Yeah, he's just
sat there watching. Anyone could have seen him, but no one seems to notice him. And then she turns up. Do you know what? The next scene, when she goes into that shop, and when I was saying about how naive she was, I was so secondhand embarrassed. Do you know what I thought she was going to do? She went in there and she said, oh, I see you've got a lot of stuff from Vault-Tec, which technically belongs to Vault-Tec. I genuinely thought she was going to demand that the lady give her some of the Vault-Tec stuff, like the paraphernalia that, like, she like, oh, see that purified water? That came from Vault 23. I'm a Vault Dweller from Vault-Tec. Thankfully, she didn't. She had some wherewithal that, yeah, she said it in a weird and naive way, like, oh, you've got some Vault-Tec stuff, so that must mean that you deal with criminals. Oh, not that I mean anything by that. In fact, I actually want to talk to someone who deals with criminals. Like, it was all quite funny how she was actually sort of starting to, well, actually she was taking the advice of that guy, like when he met her and she said, you're going to have to change and evolve. And she was starting to accept the ways of the world as the way the world works, basically, and not assuming everything, even though the old lady is like, oh, you know, she kind of gave her a little bit of advice, didn't she? She's like, oh, no one follows the rules, no one cares about the vaults, no one cares about vault tech or what, you know, their grand plan or whatever. And then her world was slightly shattered upon hearing that. But she didn't go full naive that I actually expected her to do, which was good.
Well, she said, like, she did say, like, the purpose of the vaults, and we're expecting, well, our purpose is to make America great again. And she's like, when are you going to do that then? And then that's when she kind of like turned on her and was like, yeah, like you said, like, no one really cares about the vaults. It was only rich people who got lucky, who went down there and lived their lives. Yeah, she got like a gun out, didn't she? And then she's like...
I think that was after she mentioned the name Moldova, because I think before that, she was getting her partner down to come and look at the Vault Dweller that she was laughing at. And then she was like, oh, I want to know if Moldova's come through. And then she's like, that wasn't a good idea.
I think what the Vault Dweller should have done, if it was me, and everyone's telling me, oh, it's dangerous out here, you shouldn't be out here, especially if you're a Vault Dweller, I would have asked, maybe like get some uniforms, say, oh, here's a few caps, like, or here's something valuable that I've got.
Well, that's something I was thinking about is...
change my uniform. She's just walking around with a Vault Tech.
Yeah, she is. So she sticks out like a sore thumb. But does she understand how currency works in this world? I thought in the conversation with the shop owner, she might try and buy something, and then the lady's like, I need caps. And she's like, well, what are caps? So actually, I think... Well, actually, there was a transaction later on. So, but if you've never played Fallout, you don't know what caps are or what the in-world currency is at this point. There's a couple of clues on the wall, like there was a weapon there for 750 caps, and it said caps only. But if you've never seen it, you might see that and not realise what it means. It's only when the guy paid for those tomatoes, or she was talking about how she had that job to deliver him for like 1,000 caps or something. But those are very easy to miss.
Well, yeah, she was like, if anyone takes out the cowboy gets 1,000 caps.
Oh, sorry. Something just reminded me. So those weapons on the wall, that also reminded me at the very end of the previous episode, just before we met the ghoul, someone was using a junk jet. Someone got shot in the chest with a baby's leg. So they're incorporating the weirder aspects of weapons in the Fallout world into the TV show.
To be honest, I've probably never used that one.
Anyway, back to episode 2. You can't remember that bit clearly.
I do, but it's not like I always use a shotgun or a rifle. in the games.
You never used a junk jet?
No, I don't
So the junk jet is one of the heavy weapons, and the ammo is any junk items you have in your inventory.
Oh.
So if you've got a china plate, then you're going to fire a china plate. If you've got a teddy bear, you're firing a teddy bear. If you've got forks, you're firing a fork.
I think I've used that once.
Yeah, you get it quite early on in the game. You get it in...
Fallout 4?
Yeah, in Fallout 4. You get it when you do one of the Brotherhood of Steel early missions, like the first one. But I never carry it around with me because I just can't be bothered to carry junk. But... You know, it's nice that they've...
It's too heavy as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice that they've included it in the games. It's nice that they've included it in the TV show. So it's just another one of those details where they've shown that they kind of do care about the source material as such.
So what did you think to the actual fight scene?
Yeah, well, she leaves the shop, the scientist appears, they see each other again, and then the lady says his name, and then that's when the ghoul's like, I did just get his name. It's like Siggy Wilsig. Dr. Siggy Wilsig. So she's like, Wilsig, and then he stands up, he's like, Wilsig, I've come for you. There's a bounty on your head and 6, whatever they are. And then that's when we see that this is a racist town. They don't like ghouls, which is when we were saying about how he was just sat there in broad daylight. It's another reason I was kind of shocked that he could sit there for so long. I know he had his hat on and he was kind of like covered up a little bit, but if they really dislike ghouls, you thought they might have noticed him sat there for 6 hours.
Well,
it's just a small thing. Like,
did she not say you're not welcome in the shop? She didn't.
She said your kind aren't welcome here. She said, you know your kind ain't welcome here.
Yeah. But,
so I think this is one of those settlements where no ghouls are allowed.
Did she mean the shop though? Like, because he was trying to get into the shop? Or?
No, I think she means the town.
Right. Okay. And that does happen, like in Fallout.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah. It wasn't quite your smooth skin quote, but you know, it was getting quite close. I
yeah.
think in the sense that it was showing that there is racism in the universe, which a lot of TV shows don't seem to want to go these days.
That would be the goal that would say that, like, smooth skin.
Well, that specific phrase, yes, the Ghoul would say that, but at the same time, smooth skins would be discriminating and prejudicing the Ghouls. It goes both ways, and this is them being prejudicing against that. And it's also remembering when the Brotherhood Knight, well, not the Knight, but when the Brotherhood guy comes, you also have to remember Brotherhood hate anyone who isn't human, so he will want to go after this Ghoul, possibly even more than getting the scientist guy, because their goal is to wipe out Ghouls, synths, and anything that's not human. Super mutants and all that kind of stuff. So that's one of their goals as the Brotherhood of Steel is find technology, remove everything else. It's kind of what their deal is about. But anyway, so the Ghoul shoots the guy's foot off. The comical violence, I was talking to my wife about this last night. And we were saying about, like, it is rated 15 or 18, so there is, like, gory moments in the TV series, but they're played off in a comedic way. So it's not like Vikings or Game of Thrones, where it's kind of, like, really horrific. It is horrific, but, yeah, it is played slightly for laughs, in the same way I think, like, Pirates of the Caribbean would show some of their sword stabbings and blood and all that kind of stuff.
There was definitely slow-mo shots in the battle scene.
Well, that's because this guy's probably using jets as opposed to VATS. Could you remember when she shot him with a trank and he was just like, well, love, that is a tiny droplet in an entire bucket full of drugs.
I think what I said about VATS is probably wrong, because in the games, even when you shoot people without VATS, if you do like a headshot or a shot to...
Oh, the kill cam.
Yeah, you get like a kill cam straight, like, and it's like in slow-mo. But that's only, to be honest, that's only when you use VATS, isn't it? You can only... No,
it's not a VATS only thing.
Is it? Is it not?
Or maybe...
I think you're right.
Not 100% sure, because it is in Skyrim, which obviously doesn't have VATS, and in Skyrim it can be at any point. Maybe the kill cam is a VATS only thing. On my current Fallout run, I've actually made a point to use VATS a lot, because the first time I played Fallout I didn't use VATS at all, but this time I'm really trying to use it, and I am getting a lot of kill cams, but I can't really remember if it's a VATS exclusive thing or not. It probably is, actually. Yeah, maybe it is. But I seem to remember there were some kind of like bullet time shots when the guy was shooting some of the guys up on the balconies. I'm pretty sure there was a couple.
Yeah, I can't remember, but...
Or am I... Yeah, because he had these tipped... The bullets got wings on them, and I remember seeing some shots from that. I definitely don't have that mod on my guns in Fallout 4, so that must be from the TV series. This is the problem with playing the game and watching the episode at the same time, is that I'm kind of getting the two mixed together in my head.
But yeah, they have this big fight. The Ghoul, the guy from the Brotherhood of Steel...
he arrives, he joins in the fray.
And then the Vault Dweller...
And this is where I need to apologise to you.
Okay, please.
So in our pre-TV show episode, and I said, look, there's no way she's going to go somewhere and get given a quest that's going to go in her quest book. Literally, the lady's like, look, I need you to take this guy there. And she's got hold of her Pip-Boy, and she's like, look, here's where you need, here's the navigation points or whatever, the location of where you need to take him. And I was just sat there and I was thinking, oh man, this is literally... I mean, it was actually...
I think it was done well.
I did go back and say, if she does get a quest, it's going to be given for a specific purpose, and it's to move her quest along. And it did do that. Like,
yeah, but how she...
How what?
I think the way they did it was clever, because, like, yeah, she's got a Pip-Boy. In the game, you're going to use the Pip-Boy as a map, because they're gonna locate it on your map. There's no way. There's no other way she would actually get around, like, knowing where to go. She would just be in. She would.
Oh no, sure, of course not. But it was just the way that it was
the way they done it. So you didn't want her like
the way they did it was so direct.
Yeah.
It did kind of show me up for saying the thing that I did say. But when I was talking about, getting a task to clean out the tunnels, I did say you're only going to go in the TV show to clean out the tunnels if you got to go through the tunnels to get to your next objective.
Yeah.
And they were using this quest in that sense. She needed to go see Moldova. This guy, Moldova, was paying to be taken to her. So she was helping him go to his end goal, which happened to be the same as her current goal. So I think we were both correct in that sense.
Yeah.
In the way that they would bring quests into the game, into the TV show.
I was thinking at first, because at first she was like, yes, I need you to take this person and take him to this location. I was like, oh, okay. So she's not like, that's like, I was thinking in my head, like, that's a completely separate task to what she's got to do there, because she's got to try and find her dad. Okay, that's interesting. But then she's like, oh yeah, it's Moldava, this person, the person that you're looking for as well. And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, it's linked.
Had the exact same thought process.
It's linked together now. Yeah. And I was like, okay, fair enough.
Because even she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? And then she was like, well, he's got to go to the person that you want to go see. And she's like, oh, okay, I see.
I suppose if it was a longer series, like a few more episodes longer, they could have said, like, if you do this for me, I can give you info on where your dad might be.
Yeah. So going back to the whole currency thing earlier and how she doesn't know about how caps work, I was thinking, if she needs information, now normally if you need information, you've got to pay for information. So if she's got no money...
Well, that's the thing. Yeah.
If she wants to know where Moldava is, she could do a task for this lady.
Exactly.
Maybe get some caps just to pay for supplies, but then she would be given the information as reward. And that is something that is a common quest in Bethesda games. I did a very similar mission to that in Starfield. There's a guy on Mars where he'll give you information about a target, but the only way to get there... Well, there's two ways of doing it. You can pay him a lot of money, or you can do a task for him and then you get the information for quote-unquote free.
Yeah.
I thought there might be something like that about to happen, but turns out they didn't need to do that.
Not enough time in the episodes, I think, to do something like that. It would have been cool, though. It would have been cool, it would have been cool if she was given, the options, like you do in the game, where it's you could either pay the money... Say that it's 200 caps, let's say, right? Or you can do this little mission for me and then I'll give you the information. Or she can try and persuade her to just give her the information anyway for free.
Yeah, to be honest, you might see that if you pay attention to the dialogue, you might see where they've crafted the dialogue to be one of those options.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to show the controls on the screen because it's not that kind of medium, but... Yeah, there might be a time where she's trying to persuade someone. I don't know. Maybe she'll have some wine and then go talk to someone because that gives you better charisma or something. Maybe she will use something to kind of, or dress up nicely to kind of, because that's another thing, isn't it? Certain clothes will give you charisma buffs to help get information.
What did you think to the scientist getting another leg?
I thought that was quite funny. I thought it was. At first, when they were talking about to get the foot, I thought it was going to be like a robotic foot, more like the Institute, or in Cyberpunk, if you've played that game and got as far as the biotech or the cyberware or whatever it's called. But when it turned out to be a drill, or whatever that thing was, where it just drills into the bone and the flesh and it just becomes a stump. Again, it's just playing into the comedic violence angle. It works well in the...
It looked like
it works well in the universe. It's pre-war tech, this is. It's something that just... You'd go down to your local Argos or something, pick up a foot, and then it was in someone's attic for 200 years because the bombs fell, and then someone has scavenged it and sold it to this shop.
Was it though? I swear I saw a US box. There was when the foot came out, that thing, it was it seemed like it was a secret... some sort of tech that the army had or something, because it had some sort of US badge or something on it.
I mean, it had, the packaging had something on it, but I was thinking it was more like Mr. Handy robotic thing. I think it was actually for army veterans.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
It might be. I think the thing on the box might have been for army veterans, and given what the Army Vet Society is like in America, that wouldn't be provided by the army. That would be left to the veteran to go and source out of their own pocket. So I think that would be something you'd go down the high street in your local town when you're back from fighting the war and source your own foot, replacement foot or hand or whatever. Because, I think the packaging was a bit more consumer than it was industrial.
What did you think about the Ghoul taking on everybody and him taking on bullets and stuff?
Yeah, I was surprised by that because ghouls are not invincible.
Exactly.
They just age
Slowly.
They age slower or slowly. So they're not invincible. They're not supposed to be able to take bullets and repair themselves or whatever. Like I said, like they're supposed to eat.
He took bullets, but he got the armor vest on as well. I think they made it.
Did he? Okay. Now, not 100% sure on that. If he's got some kind of metal bullet case, ballistic shielding on, and yes, it's going to be like being punched 3 times on the back. Because if those bullets went into his body, like he was shot about 3 or 4 times in that scene, which would be unrealistic for a TV show. But yeah, okay, I didn't really think he might have armor on.
I swear he definitely had armor on. But
I didn't spot it. I'm not saying he didn't. I didn't spot it.
I was surprised no one tried to shoot him in the head, because that's how you kill ghouls.
He's got the best armor of all. He has plot armor.
But yeah. So then the Maximus and the ghoul are fighting.
They have a bit of a fight.
Yeah, and it seemed like it was so easy for the ghoul just to get his knife out and start cutting some wires out of the.
I thought that was such a weak point on those suits. Like, obviously there was 2 other weak points that they pointed out. You know, the guy got his foot stuck in the floor, he can't go up the steps. But when he just managed to cut that tube and he'd lost all hydraulics in that on that side of the suit, it was just like, that seems like a major weakness, a major oversight in the design.
Well,
good story, good writing for the story, but yeah, not great in terms of actually using those suits in the field, really. I'm not sure.
That's the thing, because in the game, like they rarely do hand-to-hand combat. I think in like Fallout 4, there might be one guy who has like a massive sword or something. But other than that, like the rest of the games, they have like a minigun or an assault rifle or a plasma rifle.
Oh, you mean like the Brotherhood of Steel people?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So they never really do like hand-to-hand.
There was a lot of like punching, especially with that bear scene where the guy was like punching him, kicking him.
Yeah, they would normally have like a plasma rifle, and it would just or a minigun. And that's the thing, like the point I think the design is correct, where you could take someone out like that, but they're expecting the person not to do that, because
not to be that close
because they have a minigun or a plasma rifle and can take them out instantly. So I think that is correct. I think the guy is just approaching, taking out the target.
So the same as Fallout 4, he hasn't gone through the training on how to use this suit. He's just found the suit, jumped in it.
I was going to say that to you.
He's joyriding in his dad's car.
And the thing is, in Fallout 3 and then New Vegas, they make it very clear that you have to have proper training for that suit to operate it. You can't, because it's a lot of strength as well. You need like physical and mental strength. Just to
so it's like going back a bit when he was holding that guy's head in his hand. I was like, oh my goodness, he's going to crush his head accidentally and not realize what he's doing. Because
he was
with
that guy
with the chicken bucket.
Yeah, you have to swear, mate. You're going to have to bleep that out now.
That's I have to. I know I will, but that's what he said. He's fucking my chickens.
He's doing my chickens. I thought like why would you trust, like you can't trust anyone in the wasteland, like he's like help, it's like, yeah, well, you could be doing something dodgy, not everyone's a good guy. And he said, oh, he's doing my chickens. He's like, let me go. It was kind of like a funny scene, but it probably could have been cut.
He was a little more naive than I thought he should be at that point, to be honest, but
yeah,
he's just still excited in that moment for having that suit.
I suppose the next big part was the fact that the Vault Dweller, she's been asked to take the Doctor and go to this location.
Yeah.
And then
so they're currently walking across the salt flats.
Yeah, they're walking in.
He's not doing so well.
He's not doing well, and he just decides, you know what, I'm out of it.
Oh, we forgot to say, actually, because it's going to come back in a bit.
Sure.
The ghoul, he stabbed the dog.
Oh, yeah.
That motherfucker, he stabbed the fucking dog.
He killed the dog.
Can't believe it.
And then he brought it back to life.
No, he stabbed the dog. He didn't kill it, he stabbed the dog. But yeah, the final scene is he realizes that actually he could use a dog to find her owner again. So yeah, that was quite good to stim pack it and bring her back. But yeah, so he's not doing very well. Blood is oozing out of that that stumpy leg of his. And he's just like, yeah, here, look.
I give up.
Here's a bone saw. You're going to have to take my head off. And this is where I got confused about that blue thing he stuck in his neck. Because I was like, what was it? And that's why I wonder if she has to... I wonder if he was delivering that blue technology as opposed to himself. See, so he was transporting that, whatever he put in his neck, that's what he's transporting to Moldova. And that's why he said, if you take my head, then she'll still be happy. And that would make more sense, actually, if it's something, if it's like a serum that's gone into his brain other than a... Because I was thinking, if it's like a chip, she might cut his head off too high and it's still in the body that doesn't get delivered or something like that. But actually, if it's something that's gone into his brain, then no matter where she cuts his head off, then it will be included. But pretty grim. He didn't seem to mind. Whether that means he's going to be an AI later on in the series, maybe we'll see him again.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking they could do like another Mr. House in Fallout New Vegas, where it's like...
and in Fallout 4, robo-brains are quite common, where you install the brain into a robot body, and it's not really AI at that point. It's just the human, but with a robot body. There's one vault that's full of robo-brains. The Automatron DLC is all about robo-brains, and... Yeah, so it's not. There's definitely a couple of different things that they could do, especially given the fact that this is taking place later than Fallout 4. It's about 150. Yeah, it's about 150 years after Fallout 4 took place. So that technology was around then, so it's definitely going to be available to them now.
Well, yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. I think there's no way that the actor himself, there's no way he's going to be in it for one episode.
Well, you never know. I mean, I'm trying not to look at IMDb too much because it will tell you how many episodes they're in. So,
but I suspect, like you say, it's probably going to be they're transferring the head, and then he's going to be put into something like an AI or, like you say, a robot. Something's going to happen, and maybe the dad knows some sort of research behind it, or knew that the mother, his wife, knew some sort of research, and maybe they want him to continue the research, something like that, something crazy.
I'm not sure, but the thing is, like, I don't know about that. So Fallout 3 had that kind of mum and dad aren't from the vault story. They were part of some water purification project. But when she was talking to her dad, he specifically said that he came from Vault 31 and met her mother as part of Vault 33. So it sounds like both of her parents are originally Vault Dwellers, so I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be...
But it can't be because the Raiders said to the daughter, you look like your mother.
But maybe she left the Vault after she was born.
So there's
30 years or something like
it could
that,
be,
so.
or maybe the dad is lying, because like the dad lied in Fallout 3 kind of.
Yeah, he could be lying, sure. Because it'd be unlikely that both Vault Dwellers, but that both of them were not Vault Dwellers originally. Maybe he's a Vault Dweller, but she wasn't. She joined the Vault, and then he married her, met her, and found out secrets later on, or something. Time will tell. We won't find that out for another 6 episodes. That'll be in 7 or 8, I think.
But it's also interesting, like the first episode in which the cowboy and his daughter, and they specifically say that that's his daughter. If that leads to nothing, I'll be like, what was the point of saying all of that?
Sorry, what do you mean?
I'd be surprised.
Whereabouts?
So in the first episode, in the first like 2 minutes in the first episode.
Oh, in the very first bit with his... sorry, yes. I thought you were talking about with Lucy.
And they specifically say, this is my daughter. And they ride off. Because we don't know what happened to her.
I think we're going to get flashbacks of his life pre-war.
Right.
I think we're going to learn more of his story in pre-war or sort of just after the bombs had fallen. So we'll learn about what's happening in that time zone as well as what's happening in the current time, if that makes sense. So we'll get both worlds for him.
Yeah.
And then what's the... Oh, and the other thing is the scientist guy. He knew who Lucy was. He knew her by name.
Yeah.
And she hadn't. And she was like, how do you know my name? So obviously, this guy... Obviously, if he's part of the Enclave, he might have advanced knowledge of what's going on in vaults. He seemed to know a lot about her vault before anyway, because he was talking about how it's like a Nebraskan...
A plant.
A Nebraskan sort of Midwest sort of brought up with those ideals. So maybe he'd just done his research, or, like you say, maybe he knew one of her parents.
I don't know about that. I think it might be, yeah, like you say, he's part of the Enclave and they have some sort of knowledge about this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's interesting because she did ask him, how do you know this? And he didn't really respond.
Well, he died. His response was, I'm dying. And then she took a minute to compose herself, worked out, I think she was working out in her head what she could do, and then decided that there was only one thing she could do. Okie dokie. Thank you for listening to this episode. We will be back with another episode looking at the Fallout TV series. I was surprised. No, I will say the one last thing is I'm surprised that they all met so soon. I didn't think they were going to meet for another episode or two. I thought maybe 3 or 4, but episode 2, a little bit early, but whatever. You know, there's plenty of episodes for them to do stuff. So
The thing is, she's still, like, unless they're not going to show it in the next episode, but it looked like she was quite close to the target anyway. Because she said,
yeah, 20 miles, which you could easily do in a day or two.
Yeah, she just said she.
I think she's going to meet Moldova in the next episode, maybe the end of the next episode, and then properly in the episode after that is what I would think potentially.
I think she's going to meet Moldova, and she's going to find out stuff about her dad, which she's going to be shocked about. Which she's going to tell her, and at first you think, oh, this is the bad person, but then it turns out she's actually kind of like a normal, well, not normal because she killed all those people in the vault, but there is a reason behind why.
It's a grey area, not as bad as you think.
Yeah, like there is a reason why she's doing this. She has a motive. It's not, but yeah, we'll wait and see. I'll try and watch episode 3 tonight.